By the way, this equipment that I have is really nice because I can use my laptop from anywhere. So if you ask me a question early enough, I can even post something for you. So it's a way that we can interact in between classes. And so that also allows you to ask your question and me not to have to sit there, right? You know, we don't have to meet at the same time in the same spot, which is really hard to do. I think our enrollment right now is 20,000 students at Montclair. So getting a parking spot and driving up here is so hard these days. All my kids have thrown up right around the outside of Montclair because the cars stop and go all the way getting into Clove Road. By the way, it's nice to see that my answer's on the list. But that's the worst feeling when you have multiple choice and your answer's not on the list. Boy, I came up with something they couldn't even fool me with. Never happens to you? This is more the same. They're not identities or separate things. They ask you to find identities to find the number sine of 4 pi plus t. By the way, sine of 4 pi plus t, what is that going to be? What does 4 pi revolutions do? Same thing as sine t. So really all you have to do is find sine t, right? So again, it's I leave out more detail here. The first time I did the problem, I have lots of detail. Cosine squared plus sine squared is equal to 1. I'm substituting y equals sine to get cosine squared plus y squared is equal to 1. And then I solve for the y squared. I get y squared is 11 over 36. I square root both sides. I get plus or minus squared 11 over 36. Then I have to decide, is it the positive one or the negative one that I want? They tell me t is between pi and 3 pi over 2. Pi is over here, 3 pi over 2 is here. So it's this region. And it turns out that these are the y values in this region. Y values in this region, positive or negative? Negative. So I x out the positive, I keep the negative. And I get negative square root of 11. And then, of course, this is 6 times 6 on the bottom, so I can keep it as 6. But I think, even if you don't do that, this is fine. And by the way, they make a big deal about this in high school, right? That you're supposed to not have square roots in it. Nobody cares in Calc 1. Nobody cares. And you can enter it into WebAssign that way, and it doesn't care either. And as we said earlier, sine of 4 pi plus t is the same thing as sine of t. So we already have the answer. And WebAssign is right again. Look at that. Sometimes it's actually wrong. I shouldn't joke about it. Okay, this one is a algebra with sines and cosines. You take sine of t minus cosine t and square it. And I get this mess. Where did that mess come from? Some of you may have it memorized as a formula, like a plus b squared is ab, you have that. And the a in this case is sine t, and the b is minus cosine t, so you can plug it into that formula if you think that way. Or you can FOIL it and get it all from scratch. You can just multiply them twice and do Mr. Smiley, the first 2, outer 2, inner 2, and last 2, and you'll get the same answer. Or this is my favorite. Square this times that, double square that. Square this times that, double, square that. What'd you learn today? Square this times that, double square that. So you can, any formula you want to use, it's just a formula or it's FOIL. I have no idea why that's there. Okay, I'm petered out, so this is the last one we're going to do for today, so you're responsible up to 13. My other 2 classes are not like this. We actually are doing proofs and all kinds of fun stuff, but I got to say, this is like a recipe, a cookbook full of recipes of do this, do that. All right, here we go. Algebra and identity is to simplify the expression. They just want you to do algebra with these guys. So take the top, factor out a cosine. I think I have some detail on it, where that came from. So factor out the cosine from the top. So you have cosine squared and cosine appearing in each one, factor it to the left. The bottom comes from difference of squares. You have cosine squared minus sine squared, with the A being cosine and the B being sine. So this comes from expanding out difference of squares formula. And now that you've got it all factored, you slash. See those two disappear from each other? And that's where I'm at now. I didn't want to keep slashing on the same thing so you can see where it came from. And now I can see that these cosines can slash out.
Can you not use yellow?
Yeah, yeah, I realized that. It looks fine when I have it on the computer, but I guess it looks bad here. It might actually look different on the YouTube video too, right? It won't, because it's the lighting in here. So out they go. And there I am. Can I cut these two out? No, not allowed. You can never slash across a plus sign. Remember when you were little and used to do that? You don't do that anymore, do you? And look, it matches. That's enough.